everyone and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. Today I'm so excited to finally tell you the news I've been keeping for the longest time. The Sims have asked me to build for the new Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature pack. I have been asked to contribute 3 builds that will be officially shipped with the new expansion pack. This video is obviously going to be extremely special for that reason. This is a groundbreaking moment for me. It's honestly like a pinch me moment in my life. I want to thank the Sims for this amazing opportunity. What you will be watching today is a process of me building the starter home. And in this video, I am actually taking you along firsthand through a couple of stages that we've had, just to show you a very in-depth Sandra experience. I must make it very super clear that the game footage I will be showing you is super early on. It's still in development. It's totally not finalized and it will progressively change throughout this video. I will be showing you my progress, my build in stages, but just note that everything you see in the back is also progressively changing. We have been shown a lot of concept art for the world, for the whole pack, some items, which those have given us the inspiration to continue our build. This is all just a really fun behind the scenes experience that I wanted you guys to have, and also for me to have this video to look back on. This video may seem quite choppy and quite bitty. I am editing quite a bit of this out because I guess this was such a long process. I did go back and forth every day with a fresh set of eyes. Make sure that I'm giving this house my all. Everything you see on the screen is almost like an accumulation of daily work. This new expansion pack is inspired by the world, the nature of Ireland, and that is where I live. So the fact that I was inspired by literally outside my house really made this experience very authentic. As we get into the game, you will see the name PCD Diva, which is my EA gallery name, floating around the screen. And of course, if you do decide to purchase this pack when it comes out on the 10th of July, do consider using my creator code in the promo section at checkout. Out of all of the packs that you consider to purchase with my code, this is literally my pack. This is like my child. I've put so much effort and energy into this, so this feels extra special. The footage that you will see right now is recorded a few months back, so that's why the video looks a little different and I look different in practically all the parts of the video. So without further ado, welcome to my starter home, my official build for the new expansion pack. Let's get into it. So here we are in the past. As you're watching this video, this is me a few months back. Obviously, as I mentioned just there, this is not final software, so what you see here is the bare bones and almost the beautiful sketches of what the game will become, which is very interesting. And I think all of this behind the scenes process is my absolute favorite part of this. So the fact that I can be here behind the scenes with the game that I truly love is just exceptional and it's amazing. La-di-da-di-da, long story short, let's begin building. I really wanted to kind of focus on showing you a little bit of the actual build firsthand, because we know on my channel, I like to bring you guys along throughout the turbulent building process where it's chaos. From the bare bones of an idea, we usually kind of like to make something pretty. So I wanted to take you along on this journey with me. Yes, Sandra did prepare herself a lot of notes, so don't you worry. All these builds that you see here, they are thought out and every single aspect of them is really important. Future Sandra is popping in once again because, as I've just mentioned, I did have notes on all of these builds that I've created. Every single lot that I've had, so I had obviously 3 lots. I created 3 kind of sheets that would help me guide myself through this process. So this being my coastal town starter home, One Mary Shore Road, it is what it's called now. You know, I kind of wanted to obviously sketch things out. I am an artist. I went to art college. This was a norm for us, you know, to have a portfolio, to have sketches, to have sketchbooks. So I've taken this whole experience for building for The Sims, for this new expansion pack. Literally, I've taken this as a project I would have taken on in college. I've taken this very seriously, okay? So any little parts of my home that you may be querying or questioning, I've got notes on all of that. So for instance, was the landscaping the way it was? Why is there a circular window at the top? Why is there a front porch, you may ask? All of that is in my notes. I will show you the rest of these notes as we go into my other videos from my other builds, so definitely check those out too. But let's get back into the actual build now. One of the most important parts of all of this, and the reason why this is so close to my heart, is because this is actually inspired by a location location that I live extremely close to presents beautiful, brightly colored, small little Irish huts. These are all decorated in a nice way to make the town feel colorful and bright as much as we can, because the weather here 90% of the time is dark, gray and gloomy. Kind of became very clear to me that the way that I build is really reversed. As much as you think, you know, it would be easy just to start building blocks like that and, you know, Bob's your uncle, here's your house. It is quite overwhelming just to have this beautiful structure staring at you in the face. So I've really found that the more I was creating shapes and then trying to furnish them, then make them affordable, you know, then make them player friendly, because a lot of what you're going to see here is going to be very scaled back material. As you all know, that is essentially why we do have some base game homes that are so empty almost feeling, is because they do need to run on a lot of different computers, laptops, you name it, whatever you have at home, it should be able to run this monstrosity of a house built by me. So I thought that, you know, by beginning just with a shape like this, it was very overwhelming. So what I found myself to do really is to start from the inside of the house. This is very weird. This is like totally against what I normally did. I found myself to actually put out some objects first. It really does give you the scale of things, and it makes you kind of think about, okay, will my sim actually be able to walk around this? When my sim has supposed friends over, will they be able to walk around and have a good time in the house? And I think that is kind of the most interesting part about all of this and about building for a pack restricted by rules, but it is, it's just so fun, and I think it does really make you think outside the box a lot. So I think starting with the objects is honestly a very good idea. Obviously towards the very end we will be changing a lot of these. I feel like I'm gonna have to mention this all the time, but what you see here on the screen will probably not be the final build, but I just wanted to show you how it came from like A to B to C. You know, I wanted to show you the process because that's what I find the most interesting. Obviously we must mention as well that I am not allowed to build with any cheats, and that also means that I'm not allowed to press my alt key, my favorite key in the whole entirety of the game. I'm obviously doing 3 builds, but for the majority of the recording process, because I did want to show you as much as possible, I did say that I would do just regular speed builds, but on my channel I don't really do speed builds. I do really tend to focus on the experience that one has while, you know, you are playing The Sims. So while building, I really like to kind of show the experience firsthand. So as you see, I'm just putting down some objects and I am kind of, I don't know, placing them around the place like I want the house to feel like. I do want the front entrance, I believe, to be around here, but I wanted this one to be a little bit more traditional rather than just bright and colorful, but also a mixture of coastal and Irish at the same time. So I did also build another house over there. You cannot see it right now, but check out the other video where I show you how I build a house for a lovely couple. So that one is a lot more brighter, whereas this one over here, I do want it to be a little bit more coastal and traditional. I feel like I'm going to be veering off a lot in this video, but I think I would find that interesting to watch. So hoping you will as well. So essentially that is what you need for a starter house. I guess we really only need a table with like 2 chairs. But I do want the sitting room, I suppose, to have the 2 extra chairs, because even if you have like a couple moving into this house, if the welcome wagon comes, where are they all gonna sit? Usually welcome wagon is around 3 sims, so you can sit 2 sims here, another sim here. So that already I think is like top tier starter home vibes, if you get me. Also, the objects that you see right now in front of you, those will probably not be the final objects, but it's, you know, it's good to just start yourself somewhere. So let's think. I obviously want this to be a kind of like a rectangular shape for the majority of the living space. Say we create a little living space such as this, right? I do want to incorporate some aspects of just say the Irish countryside, the Irish small town vibe. A lot of homes would have like rounded features, which I think I would really love to incorporate in that. And also because we have fairy concept, fairy vibes, I think roundiness like that really adds to that. So I think that would be pretty interesting to do something like this. If I take this, chuck that over here somehow. Okay, that looks pretty hideous at the moment. Doesn't look very well, but I'm sure we will be able to get somewhere. Okay, maybe that like bulging side is just a bit much. What if wait now, can I just undo? Maybe if we even just do like a rounded side like that, okay? And then I don't know, we keep going, I guess. We could definitely have like a little extruding part like that. Yeah, what a beautiful, oh gosh. Sims team actually watching this are gonna be like, oh Lord, what have we done? Also, why am I building in the morning? It's afternoon. Oh my God, this video is just a catastrophe. I don't know, guys. I think a rounded feature like that would be very important. But now that I think about it, why does this look like a weird spaceship? I feel like it's way too big. But let's just imagine something like this. Now, old Irish homes, I guess, as small as they are, they would have a lot of like little rooms. So I guess most of them are also bungalows, which are quite small, especially like in the middle of town. Because another point I really wanted to mention, and this is something very important that I kind of struggled with when I was building. So homes like this that you see, because they're running on a main street, usually the bottom story, like I guess the ground floor, that would usually be a shop, and then the upstairs would be someone's house. That is how most town houses work in Ireland. So you've got the bottom story to be a shop, and then the owner of the shop would live upstairs. Essentially, like they've created here, you see like that is obviously a shop, and then upstairs would be like whoever lives there. So that does make a lot of sense. But if you want to create this into a house altogether, it's kind of hard to imagine the bottom shop being converted into a house. Again, you will see in the other house that I built over there, so definitely check that out. I think for this house, I definitely want this to be more of like a traditional standalone shape rather than this kind of townhouse kind of block. But I think for the purpose of this, to fill the lot and fill the space, we will take it upstairs. But because this is a starter house, I also can't spend too much money. So that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? A starter house, especially in this case, an Irish starter house, you'd have a tiny bathroom. And I'm sorry to say it, the bathroom would be very small. But I think that a shape like that for a bathroom would probably make a lot of sense. I don't know if I am really going to be using these windows for this build because they don't really give me like townhouse vibes. This is definitely more like Grove in the middle of the forest. Again, that might change, so don't quote me on that. The fact that I'm sitting here explaining this, okay, this horrendous build at this point, but the fact that I'm sitting here explaining a build that will be placed into a Sims game, like I will be immortalized into a pack for the rest of my life. That means a lot to me. So I just wanted to say thank you to the community that really made me shine in all of this. You know, there's a lot of people out there that might not agree with the way that I build, and you know, some people might not like this build, and that's totally fine. But the fact that I'm here having so much fun building a house is just incredible. So thank you so much, guys. It really does mean a lot. Let's think about how to get upstairs. We take these stairs and maybe like put them here. Again, in like an Irish house, you would essentially kind of have like the stairs straight away as you come in through the front door, but that's not going to work in this case. And I also don't want to be as traditional as possible, because if we are going traditional Irish vibe shaped of house, I'd have to have like a lot of separate rooms, like your sitting room, your kitchen would all be in a separate room. But for the playability of this starter house, and I want to allow your sim to have a lot of room for activities, just say, so I am going to make it a little bit more open plan with this hallway being, you know, like a separation. Wait, now I feel like this is still too big. Does that look a bit better? And then we could like throw that under the stairs. Oh, that's pretty cute, I think. I don't know. Again, none of this might be the way it is, but you get the idea. Maybe this kitchen is too far out. Yeah, maybe something like this is actually very cute. And then we could have like, maybe like a nice outdoor door there. Although do starter homes really come with like an outdoor? But I think I do really want to create some sort of a back garden if I'm allowed. I don't know, this may change again. But I love the idea for me in a starter home to be able to have a space to start gardening, because we all know that gardening is elite for money making in The Sims. Upstairs will really house the bedroom, and the bedroom only. What if I do that? Okay, I don't know, the upstairs is a bit weird. Oh my god, this is a bit weird. Wait, maybe we should play around a little bit more with the feature, like the round feature, and do something like this. Okay, maybe actually this part needs to be elongated a little bit more so that we could just, I suppose, slap on a roof here. Excuse me, what is going on? Wait a second, wait, move that roof away. Why isn't this a room altogether? Okay, I had to take a minute to make this all one room because it just wasn't. This is the fun part, because you may think, wow, this must have been built by some like amazing builder. And then you watch this video and you're going to be like, oh no. There are so many different ways that I could take this, and there are so many different things that I could do with this build. But because of the fact that like I literally can get this first-hand inspiration of these houses literally down the road from me, that's why I'm kind of confident in a way building these, because anything goes in an Irish house also. Can I just point that out too? Anything kind of goes. And now I'm thinking, how in the name of God am I going to roof this? Oh my God. Oh no. Okay. I say okay, and then I'm like, no, nothing is actually okay. I've got sketches of different concepts that I could have taken this house in, but I do really like the idea of there being this rounded portion. You've got your space there. I mean, we could probably, you know, move that in the center a little bit more or whatever, but I like the idea of the starter house feeling quite airy and breathable. And it does look quite small from the outside, I would like to say. I was gonna say it still has qualities of the town to make it feel like it does sit in the town, and I think it will be quite interesting also to see what kind of things get added into the game as they're working on the pack, to be able to see what colors I can make this house. But I'm kind of thinking some bright colors. I don't know. I mean, don't really want to dive into the colors too much. Maybe like some bright blues or something, you know. It'll be very interesting to see how the map changes to be able to make this house fit in nicely. But I do want to work on these roofs. That rounded roof, that kind of fairy-like mystical vibed roof is very, very important here too. I mean, the houses over there in the back that they've pre-built, they do look like they have a little bit of like a curve to them, but it's almost like a natural way of the roof just sagging over time. Because you do gotta admit, if we are thinking that this is anyway inspired by Ireland, Ireland is a very cold and wet and damp country. Damp, I would like to say more primarily over cold, I guess, because we do have some warm summer spells. No, we don't. Anyways, I'm gonna press shift and C. It gives you a few other options of what you can do with your roof. So you just have more points that you can almost pick at the roof and pull in different directions. But I think I would like to make my roof a little bit sagged on the edges like this, and a little bit more rounded to fit in with the kind of vibe and the mystical kind of vibe. And I suppose what I will do now is I will just copy that shape and I will just alter it to fit right here. Okay, maybe that's a bit too tall. So what I might do is I might change it and then copy that, and we will use it as a little bit of a decoration on this side of the house, maybe. I think qualities like that will really make this build come to life eventually. But that is very interesting, and I love that. The fact that I can show you kind of like the thought process from start to finish and let you experience how the build changes over this project is just so fun and so exciting to me. So I really hope you guys are going to enjoy, you know, this. We will be doing maybe some renovations. If you guys would like to see that as well, let me know, like renovating this build in a different style or whatever. Anyways, let's just focus a little bit on the upstairs. I mean, as I said, I think the upstairs will literally just be a bedroom, like there to be a little bit more of like a landing as such. Then I'm thinking the bathroom is kind of working out a little bit weirdly here. Again, as I said, Irish homes come in all different shapes and sizes. What if I took the shower in like this, and essentially that gives you a little bit more room, you know, just in case you did think that bathroom was a little bit overcrowded. And I suppose then this kitchen table does fit in here quite nicely. I don't know, that could be an idea. So that way then when we come upstairs, we just grab yourself, whoops, okay, no, oh my god, okay. We grab yourselves a banister. We are left with like a weird nook over there, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do with that. It would be kind of interesting to have quite a few like windows on this portion, because I think it would be nice to have like this like window feature. I think that's pretty cute. Maybe some more windows at the front of the house as well. I don't know why the lighting is glitching, but don't worry about it. Definitely greenery. That's gonna be one of my very, very most important parts of all of this build. And again, as I said, things will be altering, things will be changing depending on the playability of my build. So some things you see might not even make it in the cut, you know. That's why I'm not showing you too much at the moment. One of the things I really am going to push for is for the vegetation and the landscaping, because as I mentioned, Ireland is such a damp country. I cannot underline and highlight how damp it is that everything grows at like a rapid rate. You know, you've got grassy bush. Oh, that grassy bush will need to be trimmed like 100 times in the year. It is very important for this build to feel overgrown. Ireland is a very overgrown, mossy, kind of damp country. So if this is inspired by an area there, it would be very important. So especially with like greenery like that on the house as well, I think I would really want that to be there as well. Oh my god, I think that's gonna look so cute. Like just imagine, just envision, and let's all hope it's going to turn out nice. This is one of the new items actually. I love the vibe. With this coastal town, I don't think a lot of these items will work in my house, so that's totally fine. I will probably have to resort to using some base game vibes, which is okay. I think I could still make it work. I don't know what I'm gonna put over there. Maybe the bed could go like this. I don't know. You get the idea. Maybe we could put like a nice little round rug. This actually would look cute there. Maybe if I do like this or this. Something like that already looks so cute. And then maybe we could put like a little mirror standing here somehow. But I guess it could snap like right there. That's not a bad idea. Definitely maybe like some curtains or something. I don't know. That's a lot of curtains. Imagine closing all them curtains going to bed. Oh, I don't know. There's something just so cute about this house that I am obsessed with already. And even though this is just like a quick sketch, like I'm only just sitting down now today just to try and envision what I've written myself on this piece of paper. Try to make this come to life. Obviously, the majority of the things that I was saying to you today about where this build is and all the fun facts, I have the majority of that written down. I'd like to make sure that I can stand up for some of them if I do really think that they should be implemented in the game. Again, especially because I suppose I live here, so I live in this country. So I really want to make sure that I'm giving them as much of my feedback to make this world as realistic to what it's inspired by as possible, because I think that is a very crucial part of this build. The fact that I can give them first-hand feedback on what this part of the world actually looks like, I think that's very important. So I have all of my notes to make sure that what you're seeing on the screen, we can perfect it as much as possible. I want to use big windows at the bottom. So again, we're going to kind of touch off of that concept of the bottom being a shop, just say, and the big windows always lining the bottom of the houses. So I think that's quite important. But I do like the idea of these round windows. These also come with some interesting colors. I don't know, is that too many windows? Maybe just windows like this would be quite cute. Why am I obsessed with this build? And it looks horrendous so far, but I actually really love it. Again, I don't know, I shouldn't get too attached to it because we all know this is just a work in progress. Oh, I think the bottom, it would be nice if it was stone. If we are kind of mixing colorful town vibes with the traditional kind of mystical vibes over there, I think that would be quite cute. Oh, okay, sorry, this is actually so cute. And then stone at the bottom. Okay, that's a lot of textures. I don't know, guys, at the moment this house just looks incredibly scary, but I don't know. Do you like it? Please tell me you like it, because I need to hear your validation. Looks horrendous. Can I just get rid of some of the colors? Because at the moment I feel like I can't even focus on what the house looks like. Let's just get rid of all color. Anyways, I really hope you like this part of the video, and I'm excited to see where this house goes. What you're going to see now is me after a couple of weeks and after feedback meeting, like a cute little hangout that we used to do every couple of weeks, where we kind of go through a couple of things that we wish to change or move around and like kind of bounce the ideas off of each other. So you will see that throughout the video. In between, I'm obviously doing my own changes. I'm playing around with the game, playing around with so many different concepts and ideas and seeing what works. And it was so important to have the team and all the other amazing builders as well to kind of literally give each other feedback. And it was such an exciting like learning process as well. So let's get into it. Well, guys, welcome to part 2. So this is after the first feedback meeting. And as you can see, the world is changing. Our horizons are broadening. I don't know, you get the idea. Obviously, everything you see here still is early access and is still in development. But as you can see, for the purpose of this video, I'll show you that this lot is really changing. And everything kind of around here has now changed. The whole lot is shifted to the other side. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rethink the positioning of this lot, obviously, because I think the front is meant to be here by the road, I suppose. And then the back there, you know, it's kind of like a fun little area. I don't know what's gonna come there. Some cool things might be happening back there, but God knows. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my notes, actually. 1 second. Ta-da! Okay, we've got my notes. Now, funnily enough, there actually was so little feedback with this build, which I'm so happy to hear that the Sims team really enjoyed my builds. And in this one, they really said they didn't have much feedback, which is brilliant. You know, the colors and everything in my head was still really just like up in the air, but they really enjoyed everything besides this one brown door, which I do apologize. I cannot believe I sent the Sims team this brown door. Like, what's wrong with me? It has to be this color. I'm actually just insane. Anyways, I'm actually going going to flip my lot and I'm going to make this the back and this be the front. So that essentially works a little bit better. Now, I really don't like the terrain painting anymore, which is fine because that was obviously just something that I did really quickly just to show off the idea. Now, what the actual things they asked me to move was this rug, which I totally agree with. So they've asked me to use the F5 key and just ever so slightly move this rug over one tile that it almost fits that beautiful round curve a little bit better. I mean, I can't go any further, which I probably would like to go a smidgen further, but it does make sense for it to be just a tiny bit moved over. I also don't understand what's happening with the lighting here because that looks like two different wallpapers, but it is the same wallpaper. Now, again, with the colors, I don't know, I kind of like them. They're very basic. Obviously, as this is a starter home, you don't want it to be too much, but you know, there could be like little changes here and there that I might end up doing that you guys are probably going to be like, why did you do this? And I'll be like, I really don't know why I did this. This house, I really do like this house. And honestly, this was one of those things that I've made that I really like. I drew out all of my concepts, right? So they're very close to my heart, but all of these concepts that I have here are really combinations of homes that I've seen around me, around, you know, where I live. I really wanted to make the structural house be as, you know, true to the area as possible and obviously to fit the town. Luckily, the Sims team really loved that, so I'm just so happy. And this house, like, it's a bit of an odd house, don't get me wrong, it's a bit of an odd shape. Like, I kind of want to extend this part out a bit, but I kind of like how wonky and weird it is, but I still think it's airy and breathable still at the same time. So just say, for instance, if you do want your sim to start off painting, you will have a room, hopefully somewhere, you will have room, oh my god, an easel won't fit actually, Jesus, okay. I was gonna say you will have room to do activities. It's hard to turn this house into a 2-bedroom house, so the only way you could do that, which I did think about this, was you could whack on a door here and extend the house back, which I thought was very interesting, and I thought that was a necessity. Like, you need a starter house to be able to work and to be able to add bedrooms just in case your Sims have kids or whatever, you know. So I think you could kind of extend the back out a little bit. I'm going to do a couple of changes myself, maybe just to a few colors and the landscaping. Yeah, the lot obviously now is going to be facing this way, so expect more changes to come. I'm going to do the landscape and everything off camera, but I just wanted to show you like the step-by-step feedback that we get, because I think the process of this is very interesting, and I think any kind of behind the scenes is just going to be so incredibly fun to look at, and I'm so incredibly lucky that I get to be a part of this project, so I want to take you along with me. So I shall catch up with you in the next part after the second meeting. Well guys, welcome back. So this is after the second lot of feedback notes that we've received. I'm really enjoying the feedback meetings because you do really get to learn a lot from the others, and it's just a really exciting like learning experience when it comes to developing games, so I'm really enjoying it. But I am also taking my little notes, so there really isn't too much that I require to change, especially for the starter home. I mean, it's a starter home. How difficult can it be to create it? At the same time though, I'm really stressed because I want to make sure that you guys really like this, and I want to make sure that whoever plays this, I'm giving them the least amount of things to complain about. All I pretty much have to do, which really makes a lot of sense, is just to kind of play around with the back of the house. Well, they like the positioning of my house, so I did change it because obviously every single time, everything you're seeing here right now will be changing. So things did change the positioning of the lot, so you probably have seen me working on that. So they enjoyed the fact that I've moved the lot. So they have suggested that I play around with the back of the house just to make it feel a little bit more interesting, because there obviously isn't much happening. I like the idea of adding the gardening. They're kind of okay with the gardening as well, I think. Let's get into this. So essentially what they're saying that I could do is add another window here, which I mean, I'm okay with doing that. I love windows. Windows are great. But if you think about it, there's so many windows here already in the upstairs room. Like, how many windows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 windows already. They're suggesting I add more. I mean, let me try and see what it looks like. I suppose they are suggesting that I kind of just break up the wall a little bit like this, which is fine. And then I think, wait, now let me just revert back to the notes. So I think essentially they're suggesting I nudge this over a little bit, right? And then I just add something else, break that wall up, because I get it, like there's not much happening on that wall, so you want to make sure that it is as interesting as possible. So they suggested that I add the garden hose, which is a brilliant idea. I mean, it makes sense because it's like gardening, garden hose. I didn't really want to add too much of a storyline, but my favorite thing to do when I'm starting a let's play or a starter, family, is to do gardening because it makes you money quickly. So it's pretty good. I think maybe that's just a tiny bit too high up. I think maybe if I just nudge it over with F5, that is a tool that we're allowed to use. Or do I want to move this over a little bit now as well? I think just to break it up a little bit. I'm like trying to squint my eyes. They make me do this squint test that if you can squint and if you see detail, I don't know. It's squint test more for color, I think. If things are standing out, then that's a good thing. But if you squint and you can't see anything, that means you're still in the wrong, if you get me. I like to move that over just the tiniest bit. So we have like the hose almost in the middle. The light is centering the windows upstairs, and then down at the bottom we're balancing with the hose to make sure that these two are centered, and then we've moved that over a little bit. Do I like this? Is it a bit busy? Like, I guess it does really make sense on the outside of the house, but am I insane for having so many windows in this house? Probably. Like, could I dare to remove this one at least? Then again, that wall just looks so bare. What are we thinking? Then again, you probably don't need that window over there. Like, I'm just thinking logically, if I went into this house and I looked upstairs and I was like, Lord above, I have no money to start, my house, my family, but I have like 1,700 windows. So maybe I do need to remove that one. I think I'm happy getting rid of that one. I mean, if they do want to, put it back, that's totally fine. I mean, they didn't comment on anything else within my actual house. So I'm almost kind of scared to change things just in case I break up what I've already had and ruin it. So I guess what I'll do is that's all I'm going to show you for this part of this journey. Now, we did get a really fun feature, which I will just comment on. This obviously is a part of the game now, but you can actually put plants and things on the roof. I think I'm going to do that in my bar venue, so definitely check that out if you are interested to see how I built that. But anyways, I'm going to kind of work on that a little bit off camera, and I will see you after the third lot of feedback meetings, which will be essentially our last meeting. I will be left to my own devices after that to change whatever last pieces. I think they do a lot of the playability troubleshooting then, so things might still change a lot, but for the moment I'm happy enough how it's looking, I think. Wait, with this poking out like that, now I'm like overthinking. Does that look weird? Also, what's happening up there? Oh, I don't have a floor up there as well. Ooh, would you look at that? That's interesting, isn't it? Wait, now, why does it attempt to sell something? What is it selling? What are you selling? Are you selling my stuff? No, I don't like this white trimming now. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with that because I really don't know what to do. So leave that to me. Welcome back to this is after the third feedback meeting. So after our third deliverable, after our last meeting, which is actually really sad, the last, I suppose, set of feedback notes. The one thing they want me to add is actually for playability of a new feature of the game. They want me to add a pond into this house. The other things that they want me to add is actually an object. It's a nature press. One really exciting thing though is that we've got this really cool new feature, right? Let me show you this because this is actually really cool. It's these things, right? So you take one of these, okay, you place it down and you're like, oh, just a regular garden pot. You can actually plant things into this. So if I type in fern, just say, the Boston fern house plant does come up, but these little ferns, this monstera and this pothos plant, these actually go into these, and I'm obsessed. Like, I actually, when I saw this after the last feedback meeting, I was like, oh my god, I think I'm going to lose my mind slightly after these. These are absolutely amazing. Like, just look at the beauty of this. I have to add these to the house instead. So just say instead of this thing, I can just chuck that over here, right? I can just whack that in there. I mean, it looks a bit small there, but oh my god, we can change the, oh my god, Lord above, I can change the, sorry, I'm absolutely obsessed. Hello, do you see this? This is beautiful. I am obsessed. Okay, so that's gonna go there. Nature press in its glory. It's actually called flower press. That's why I couldn't find it. Simply place on the table with a chair or on the ground for pressing. Okay, but if I go into live mode, can you take this into your inventory? You can. Okay, that's interesting because like this is a starter home. So do I really want this to be like, do I want there to be a table and chairs? Did you get, okay, I'll just put that into our inventory and now it's, okay, just 2 minutes. This is not working great. You see, I'm going to have to do like a massive table just for the sake of this nature press. I mean, I don't think so, not on my watch. So I'm thinking, what if I do like a little table? Like we've got this little table here, but I like the idea of just like putting it here. I mean, is that like a bedside locker thing? Maybe. Or maybe we could put the two of these objects there instead. I don't know now. You see, these kind of feel more more so like ground objects rather than like bedside locker objects. Do you get me? Okay, so I've added this monstera as you come in the door there. So I think that's quite cute. I kind of like the way that feels. Although as a starter home, would you really have like these beautiful, majestic like monstera plants everywhere? I think what they did want though, wait now, did they want an empty one? I had one empty houseplant pot. So wait now, because I had an empty one out the back, which they obviously don't want that. So I'm going to delete that one. So one of these does have to be empty. I don't really like the idea of coming in and there just being like an empty pot. So what if I add you on this side with a nice like little beigey tone? Maybe you, and you can just be chilling there. Although we could add you as a bedside locker little companion, and then we could have our little press like right here. I want to make sure that when I come into this build, I feel a nice bit of balance, and certain objects in my head offset the balance a lot. I don't know why. I don't know what this means. Because of this planter pot being so bulky, looking on that bedside locker, it kind of almost offsets the fact that there's nothing on this wall. It still feels like more of so a heavy object. I could put this on this side and make this feel a little bit more balanced. I do feel like this is gravitating towards this a little bit more. But maybe rightfully so, that should be there. Now, I don't know, that could still be wrong, the placement of this flower press. They might feel the need to put that on a desk. There is also changes that they can be making after we send off our final deliverable, because more objects will be added to the game, and for playability and for gameplay and things like that, they have obviously the right to change your builds to a certain extent. I really love this plant though, and I really love this home. Honestly, that's what I was about to say. I really like this house. There also might be changes that need to be done with the budget as well, because currently, as you've seen, these planter pots, they cost 0 simoleons because they are still in development. So everything, including the budget, is still being developed. So they might need to reduce some items. Anyways, what I am going to work on now slightly is fitting in a pond. So I really don't know where to put this pond, but logically the pond, if I do it on the outside of the fence, it will just feel like it's like a pond that doesn't belong to you, because Ireland, I feel like, also is very territorial in a way that, like, if it is your plot of land, it's yours. Everything within the plot is yours. Since we are on like a footpath, if I put the pond outside of the fence, you know that people will just step into your pond and it will feel overwhelming. I also feel like the pond shouldn't be near the road, so it should be more so on this side. So if I move my entire house, wait, no, 1 second. Can I just remove these 2 trees for a second? If I just take my entire lot and if I move it over slightly, so then I have a little bit of extra room to play on this side of the house. So wait, now let me just get rid of this for a second and this as well. So then I'm thinking, do I the pond just naturally roaming freely outside of my lot, or do I actually remove this? Okay, wait 1 second there now. If I remove this, that's 200 simoleons. That's gonna cost me a lot. It would make the most sense to have like a little pond. Okay, I feel like that's almost too deep. We need a small little pond. We don't need it to be this big. Then I fill it with a little bit of water like this. Smooth those edges just the tiniest little bit, you know, gotta make it look more rounded and more natural. Excuse me, why is this perfect angular peak formed right here? That's so annoying. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. That's nice. Oh yeah, maybe we could play around a little bit with like the terrain. Look at me go. Look at that beautiful round pond. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller though. No, that's too big. 1 second. Too small. Brilliant. Ponds are free, so that's fantastic. But do I just like enclose the pond into my own lot? No, I don't like that. Like, that's gonna look ridiculous. Like, looking around the world, obviously the world is not complete. Well, everything you see here is obviously not complete, but no one really has, well, that house has an enclosed fence around it. You can't see it with my head. Over there has an enclosed fence. So that's why I kind of felt like enclosing the fence around, enclosing the pond with the fence would be a good idea, but I actually don't think so now. Okay, so I've kind of mapped out where I want the pond, I think. I still think that it does look a little bit awkward here, so I don't know if this is where I actually will keep the pond, but I just wanted to show you, like, I guess it works there, but also the fact that there's just like concrete over here, it kind of doesn't really make sense that there is a pond here. There just wouldn't be a pond like that unless I put like some sort of shrubbery, like if I put like a bush here, and then I could use a little bit of terrain painting, just say almost like veering off from here into this. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to work on this a little bit more. more, and then we will kind of, I suppose, after this, because this is the final lump of changes I will be making. So once I send this off, we will do one final tour of everything and you will see what I came up with. This process was extremely long and it did take us quite a lot of back and forth to make sure the builds were as perfect as possible. I'm showing you here a couple of screenshots of what we kind of finalized upon, but there's still a couple of changes that have taken place. This is why I've decided that we're actually going to do a full-on tour of my 3 builds once we've got the pack. I think that will be very exciting to take you through every single thing when it's fresh out of the oven once the pack gets released. But I still really thought you guys might enjoy a little bit of the behind the scenes. So I'm so glad I decided to make a video like this, because you know me here on my channel, we like to take things the literal way. We learn from our mistakes and we thrive on the chaos of my building style. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've worked extremely hard on this. I hope you guys will be able to tell that with the builds in your game if you do decide to purchase this pack. Of course, as I mentioned at the start of this video, if you are going to be purchasing this pack, do consider using my creator code. Since playing this game as a child on my very old desktop back in Poland, I did not think that I would be sitting here right now in front of a camera developing a part of the new Sims 4 expansion pack. This is relatively the most intense part in my whole entire life and I will never forget this. Well guys, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my previous videos, linked for you down below. I would of course love to know your feedback, so leave your comments and suggestions down below, and thank you so much for watching and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!